Hello and welcome back to the Shed Geek Podcast. Here's a message from our 2025 studio sponsor. Let's be real. Running a shed business today isn't just about building great sheds. The industry is changing fast. We're all feeling the squeeze, competing for fewer buyers while expectations keep climbing. And yet, I hear from many of you that you are still juggling spreadsheets, clunky software, or disconnected systems. You're spending more time managing chaos than actually growing your business. That's why I want to talk to you about our studio sponsor, ShedPro. If you're not already using them, I really think you should check them out. ShedPro combines your 3D configurator, point of sale, RTO contracts, inventory, deliveries, and dealer tools all in one platform. They even integrate cleanly into our Shed Geek marketing solutions. From website lead to final delivery, you can quote, contract, collect payment, and schedule delivery in one clean workflow. No more double entries, no more back and forth chaos. Quoting is faster, orders are cleaner. And instead of chasing down paperwork, you're actually running your business. And if you mention Shed Geek, you'll get 25% off all setup fees. Check it out at shedpro.co/ShedGeek. Thank you, ShedPro, for being our studio sponsor, and honestly, for building something that helps the industry.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Some of the fan favorites on the show today, and I just want to remind everybody, if you enjoy what you hear on the podcast today, be sure to go check out our newsletter. It's really simple. You can just message me at info@shedgeek.com to get added. Go to our website if you would like to get added to the newsletter, or just give me a call at 618-309-3648. And if you have any questions about today's guest, don't hesitate to reach out. We want to put you in touch with them because we want success for you and we want success for them. And Joe, we can build success together when we do that. So introduce yourself if people don't know you already. You've been on a few times. You were guest speaker at the Shed Sales Summit. I should have wrote down your whole lineup and just made this big accolade list for you. But no introductions needed, Joe. Who are you?
Yeah, sure. If you don't know me, I'm the owner and founder of Velocity 360. We're a sales CRM solution for the shed industry. I'm an author of a book called Problem with Potential: How to Stop Overthinking, Get Out of Your Own Way. I did speak at the Shed Sales Summit, and I've speak a lot. Actually, I have our own conference that Brandon and I run, and I'm all about helping people. So our whole mission is surrounded by this idea that if local businesses win, the local communities win. We love working with businesses that give to charity, give to their local churches, and make the world a better place.
Love the quick elevator pitch. That was really good, man. It's really solid. I feel like you didn't even practice that. It just comes off natural for you.
I did not practice that. No prep.
Nice. Brandon, tell us who you are for those who haven't got a chance to meet you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Brandon Tobin. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer with Velocity 360, kind of Joe's right-hand man. And I'll say I'll take some of the credit for nudging us in the software direction, because I sold software for going on 20 years now. It was on CD-ROMs back then.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a little older. But anyway, really love what we do. Just won a pitch competition, actually, like a Shark Tank style thing in the Tri-Cities, Northeast Tennessee region. And the whole theme was like David versus Goliath, how we're just like the slingshot, but those small, local, privately owned businesses are the Davids that we want to equip with better tools to take on the Goliaths, the big competitors, big tech with the big money. And I think, we just got tired of the HubSpots and DocuSigns of the world making 90% profits off the backs of small businesses. So we decided to do something about it.
Before Cord introduces himself, for those who don't know him, something you guys would find interesting is that me and Cord are co-partnering right now on a new podcast, which is built around the exact premise that you were talking about, which kind of still has some roots from where Shed Geek started 5 years ago, which was to be at that point was to be like a local or regional player in podcasting and niche down, like the conversations where we could focus on local businesses. So we're actually going to be starting a podcast that's very specific and very native to Southern Illinois, where we live. Cord's a city alderman here in town. And we struggle from the politics, is what I would like to call it, of our state, being way down here. And we just kind of feel underserved in Southern Illinois in some ways. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn just by saying that. And we're like, hey, how can we help local businesses in our community? He's got a heart for people. I do too. And we love to see our local businesses win instead of moving into these big conglomerates. And that's not because we're anti, big business or anything. We just still want to see mom and pops win, man. We really do.
Absolutely.
We love whenever mom and pops win. So Cord, introduce yourself. Everybody pretty much knows who you are. You've been leading a few over the podcast, but just give them a quick one.
Yeah, Cord Cook, founder and CMO at Growth Ops Ally. We are a fractional C-suite and executive services business. So not just consulting, but actually digging in, getting our hands dirty, executing on high-level strategies, both marketing, operations, and finances. So myself and my partner, Shalisha Wood, started that company. We've talked about it a couple of times, on the podcast, Shannon. But I'm really excited to be here today with Joe and Brandon. I actually had already done a sort of episode 1 of a Shed Geek CRM series. So this will kind of be episode 2, I suppose. And just really looking forward to being able to continue to enlighten the listeners as far as just how important these tools are. And I have a feeling Joe is going to hammer this point home, but that they need to be making you money, right? These are not just tools for the sake of tools. They are tools that are there to make you successful. So I won't steal his thunder, but I'm happy to be here, Shannon.
We need everybody to put their dukes up, and we need like this little ding ding ding. This is where we get in and we start fighting. We get into the mud and we get into the muck of everything. Joe, let's talk all things CRM, buddy. Nothing's off the table. Let's get real with people and give it to them right where they are. What do you see getting into the shed industry, offering these CRM services? What are give me 2-3 things that come to mind immediately that you feel like you're here to help solve?
Yeah. So the few questions I'll usually ask everybody, and the answer is normally no. And this would help you understand, if you're listening to this, is my software set up well, or does it kind of suck? For your sales system. Okay. Question number 1, do you or your sales team, depending on the size, we do have locations we're talking to companies with locations up to 100 lots, and we have single lot dealers, and we have manufacturers, everything in between. But the question is, do you or your sales team get to every single new lead and contact them within 60 seconds? Everybody I meet with, their answer is no.
No.
If that is happening, you're missing out on a lot of sales, because if you catch a new lead within 60 seconds, your closing percentage on that lead increases by 381%.
Wow.
Okay.
That's all, huh?
Yeah, that's right. And
That's
the
all.
problem is that you want your salespeople closing and collecting signatures and cash. They're doing the best thing they could do for your business if they're busy and cannot respond to those leads. So you have this natural problem of a human limitation of time. You want them to be closing. You need to be also having them reach every single new lead. And it's impossible because everybody's going online, and you're getting hundreds, thousands per month of meta, inquiries and lead forms and Google ads, right, coming in. And you can't get to every lead within 60 seconds. And we solve that problem with a turnkey workflow, for example. But if you're not doing that, you probably need to come chat with us. The second thing I like to ask people, answer is almost always no. Do you follow up with unresponsive leads at least 14 times before writing them off?
No. That's a big no in the industry, I promise you.
It's a big no, right? And it makes sense, because the best use of your salesperson's time is what? Closing, not following up with unresponsive leads, but because technology can do that, right? But those leads, so I'll have clients, secure storage sheds, being our first one that we just tout, and Jeremy's just the best, and I just love working with him. But there's so many times I'll get into his account and I'll ping him, wow, this is crazy. But we'll have 20, 30 touch points, and then they'll respond, I'm ready. Because every person who fills out a lead form for a shed is going to buy a shed someday. It just may not be today. It could be in 6 months. It could be in 3 months. Who knows? And they're going to forget every company that they followed up with, or that they fill out a form. What's the name of the company? They don't know. They did 100 companies. They're just looking at stuff they like, and they're going to forget. And the people who win that is the people who follow up the most, right? So the stats show the average conversation is started with a lead after 7 touch points. The average, that means 50% of leads will respond at 7 touch points. Of the ones that will respond, there's still people who will never respond, by the way. Okay. So 14 is you're playing the odds. You're maximizing your chances for a response, right? You're showing that you actually do care. And when we talk about these workflows, by the way, it's all about intentionality. So something we like to set up is this very intentional, warm follow-up. It's not like used car salesman. Okay. Don't do that. That runs people off. You want to build trust. It's more like, hey, I saw your form yesterday. I know I couldn't catch you then, or whatever, but I'm really excited to chat with you. When's a good time to call? And then we can also automate a voicemail from the sales rep, the exact thing they would have said if they didn't pick up the phone, and it just does it. It's so warm and intentional. And most of the other competitors that you're competing with, because you can throw a rock and hit a shed from anywhere in the country, right? They're not doing that. They're not being that intentional. They're not being that great with systems, because this industry is modernizing quickly. With AI and the tools, it's just going to get even more competitive. Okay, so those are the first 2 questions. Okay, I've got 2 more. Third question is, do you automatically request getting 5-star reviews from every client every time? The answer is 90% no. People are a little bit better at that one because they've got these SEO going. But if you don't have that, you should probably come talk to us. And the last one is, do your sales reps add notes for every phone call conversation in the CRM for your service team and your ops team and your delivery team to be able to look at? The answer to that one's always no. And we have an AI call summary feature that auto adds notes for every sales rep, every phone call, and it just adds the notes. And they don't even have to add notes ever. Even if you're driving, doesn't matter. And we can format it to whatever, the client needs. If they need to pull out the building size, 12 by 24, and their budget and whatever, we can actually train the AI to pull out the exact notes really concisely from every conversation. It's wild.
This episode is brought to you by ShedSuite, the complete shed business management software. From inventory and quoting to e-commerce and delivery scheduling, ShedSuite keeps your whole operation running smoothly. Today, leading shed businesses are focusing on digital marketing and building their online presence because that's where the customers are. That's why ShedSuite now offers full-service marketing. Everything from ads, social media, and SEO to stunning websites, branding, video, and even photography. The best part? Your website pulls straight from your ShedSuite inventory. Update it once in ShedSuite and it's live. No more managing 2 systems like with WordPress or WooCommerce. Ready to grow? Go to ShedSuiteServices.com to learn more and schedule a call. Let's grow together.
So let's set the stage from early on. I'll ask some questions. Just give me your thoughts on it. Who needs a CRM?
That's a great question. And Brandon, if you want to pop right in.
I'll pop in for that one. I'll say, it was the tale of 2 stories at the Shed Expo, where we would meet so many people that were productive, successful, $1 million plus of sales per year. And then we would ask them these questions. We would ask how to keep track of everything. And a lot of times it was nothing. It was our personal cell phones, piece of paper, maybe Google Sheets. They had absolutely nothing. But it was definitely getting to the point where their growth was bottlenecked and it was being hampered, especially if they wanted to open another lot, manage multiple salespeople. If they were in that, okay, we've gotten our first few years, we got our feet under us, but now we want to grow. Those people needed CRMs. And then the other end of the spectrum, we would meet people that had just kind of experienced this bloat of their tech stack where they had 9, 10, 12 different things that were costing thousands of dollars a month. They had like Ring Central for their phones, and then they also had HubSpot for their CRM, which was costing them thousands of dollars a month just to store their contacts. And then they would also have something else for reputation, Google reviews, and then something else for texting, and then something else for like AI responses over voice or chat, and they just, 8, 9, 10 different things for customer communication. And they just really benefited from streamlining that and keeping it really simple for their salespeople to have one place to go to see all the conversations from all the channels with that, particular lead. And a lot of times it saved them 50 to 75% what they used to be spending. So I'd say those are like the two types that we ran into a lot that needed CRMs in general or needed something simpler and all in one spot like what we offer. But Joe seemed like he has something to add to that also.
Yeah, if you're going to run a business that you want to grow, and not be stressed out of your mind, you need a CRM. Because the thing is, your business, you're just without a CRM, everything becomes a black hole. Your phone, you're like, oh, that person texted you at 3 a.m. I would like to buy, and then it gets buried under 100 messages, and you can't find it easily. Right? That's a non-CRM person who is just lost out on a shed deal that's worth 5,000, 9,000, whatever the average sales price is. And you add that many missed text calls, that much lost over time, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, in missed opportunities.
I'm going to work from the tail coming back here now, Joe, because I'm curious. I have no ads. I do not run Meta ads. I don't run Google ads, Bing, TikTok, Snapchat, none of that. I do have a website. It's pretty basic. Do I need a CRM?
Yeah, absolutely need a CRM. Yes.
Talk to me about it.
Now here's what I will say. If you're happy with where you're at and you don't want to, you have no goals of increasing, you're exactly happy with the way that your business is going to run, a CRM is not going to feel like a good fit for you unless you have a goal, right? If the goal is to work less, then you should get a CRM because it could automate what you're doing, right? Even if you don't want to grow, even if you don't want to make anything better, like all of the very good texts to your walk-ins, the follow-up emails, the follow-up calls, saying happy, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy 4th of July, all of that can be automated in a way that you could probably half the amount of time you're working and make the same amount of money. So if that sounds appealing, you should probably still have a CRM. If that doesn't sound appealing, then I guess you don't need a CRM. And, there's got to be the value of that, right? And if you're trying to go from one location to 5 though, if you're really trying to grow, yeah, you need one. You need a method to the madness. If you have even one sales rep, you're getting that point where you're hiring somebody and you don't know what they're saying to your customers, it's kind of terrifying because they could be losing you sales more than they're making you sales. And you need to just be able to coach them and have a quality control metric. You need to be able to listen to their transcripts, listen to their conversations, see what they're texting and emailing people. So whether you're small, large, doesn't matter. Almost everybody in the industry, once you start growing, has more than one person on your team other than yourself. And at that point, that's the trigger because that's where things can go pretty like the wrong direction very quickly. Where you hire somebody, you spend 80 grand, 60 grand, 40, whatever it is on their salary, and you have no visibility. And that's a big need once you're at that point. Again, if you're wanting to be the solo person, I completely understand. We could probably save you 25 to 50 hours a week. And if that sounds great, then, we should probably chat again. And then again, if you're starting to grow, even that one person, you probably need something. Again, it's all these people who buy from you. I think a lot of people in the shed industry think that once someone buys one shed, they never buy again. And it's just so not true. They're going to buy again. They're going to move. They might, if you get the right people, they probably have investment properties. They might be, a tiny home person who buys a bunch of tiny homes all the time. Will buy hundreds from you. So, it's really about that client profile, but you won't know that information if you don't write it down. Right. And then you can't follow up on it. Anyway, I digress.
No, you're good.
Well, but you're even, I think that was about as judicious as you can be. But like the truth is even if you are completely happy, right? Even if you're that last person that you just said, the fact is it is requisite at this point, right, to continue to up the volume of leads that you're handling to maintain business because more and more of those really high quality on lot visits, right? The high, high close rate type of sales that those kind of single operators that Shannon kind of laid out there, who may not be running any kind of anything digital or whatever else. Like, you have to be increasing the volume of leads that you're working with, which by the nature of it means that you need to be thinking CRM, right? Even if you want your business revenue to stay the same, as those activities move digitally, you're going to have to kind of work more leads, work more digital leads, and work more leads in an automated fashion, right? Just to wind up with flatline sales, much less, growth. So at this point, I think it's even something that is a maintenance strategy, right? Even if it's not totally a growth strategy, you have to be integrating some of these tools and concepts just to maintain even the current market share that you have. So I think you're being super judicious, Joe. But I think the answer is almost who needs a CRM. It's pretty close to everyone, and I'm sure people will roll their eyes, listening to this podcast where a bunch of guys wearing headsets talking on a Zoom call say everyone needs a CRM. But
you hear those grumbles from everybody in the industry that it was just so easy during COVID when all the stimulus money was floating around and people had nothing to do. Everything was closed. So they would just go look at sheds, and the money was pouring from the sky. And then that bubble burst, right? And all of a sudden, everybody got really used to their online life, being stuck inside, shopping online. You see that with car sales, with sheds, with just about everything. Man, if you go onto somebody's website, like I was shopping for a car recently, and if I say I'm interested in something and I immediately get texts and emails saying, thank you so much for your interest. Here's the Carfax report. Here's everything that you could ask about this vehicle. And here's like 9 or 10 others that you might be interested in as well. I'm like, that is great customer service. This is 9:30 at night on a Sunday. I feel so well served right now. Right. And if I've reached out to somebody's website or called and they just weren't open and they're like, I'll get back to them on Monday, like they're going to lose that very large sale and possibly like several more sales over my lifetime. And it's like people will use, I want to build relationships, or I want to be so personal. I want every single thing to come from me manually doing it because it'll mean more, even if it's the exact same words as if a system did it. It's like, well, sorry, you're not going to be able to do that at 9:30 at night on a Sunday when people are shopping. Like, you're going to be in bed or having dinner or whatever with your family. You don't want to have to work 24/7, and you can still build relationships with those people and actually give them a better customer experience by automating some of these things and taking them off your plate.
Yeah, and by the way, the customer, this may sound crude, the customer doesn't care that much. They just want the thing a lot of the times. They just want to get their service met. Like, they just want to get their thing done well, quickly, easily. And they always go, like every human being, right? Path of least resistance. And if it's hard, they can't get a hold of you and all this stuff, they pop to the next one. That's why if you get them within 60 seconds, your close rate goes up. They stop shopping. Right? All the people are shopping. If you get them within 60 seconds, they stop shopping and they talk to you. And then you have the ability to use your best asset, the relationship building, trust building, personalized relationship that you or you're great at sales. Most of the people we talk to are good at building relationships with the people that walk in the lot. They're just bad at the digital follow-up that leads to the conversation, which is where their greatest strength is anyway.
Hello, today we're going to take a look at iFab's component saw system. So we're utilizing a DeWalt chop saw. We've put it on sliders, easily to adjust. We've automated it using pneumatics so that we can run all these saws together using one actuator. We can either actuate with a two-hand safety control here or a foot pedal. The two-hand safety control comes with board clamps here, so to clamp in your board so you're totally hands-free. We've got digital readout up here to find your angle as well as your length. So we have a 90-degree saw here for your super long angle cuts. We've also got a conveyor on this system to take away your cutoffs. This system is completely modular. We can add as many saws as you need. The rails can be as long as you need.
For more information, visit www.ifabllc.com.
I'm gonna get in the weeds here from a customer perspective again, since I started this narrative of I'm the customer. These are my questions to you. What about this one? I've tried a CRM before. You know, it didn't work for me, or maybe it wasn't set up right, but I just never was comfortable on how to use it. What's your response?
Oh yeah, so we hear this all the time too, which is really normal. And almost every one of these people is like perfect for us because we have a white glove setup. We just started working with a company and they were trying to set up, their own Go High level. We've worked with people trying to set up their own HubSpots before, right? And they'll spend years, literally years, trying to set up the software to do what they want. And we do it in 30 days, you know? And so it's just like, yeah, like I get it's not about the software. It's usually about the fact that we work with a lot of great people who are not techie. Most people in the shed industry are not techie. Their sales reps are not techie. It needs to be so simple for everybody to use. And frankly, if you're trying to self-set up, you're just pulled in so many different directions. It's hard to become an expert on it. It's a PhD. You're getting a PhD in software to be able to set one of these things up. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just very difficult to do all the integrations, etc. So I think people try really hard to set it up. They see the value and they just can't get it done that way. So that's why we offer the white glove. We'll literally set up everything. We'll migrate you from your previous, CRM. We'll move all your contacts, your data, your workflows. So you don't have to start over. Our goal isn't to make you start over on our platform because we care that it's our platform. Our goal is that you grow your revenue, convert more leads in less time, employ more local people, help them help their families, give to your church, give to your charity. That's all we care about. We don't care. Like we'll integrate with anybody. Like it doesn't matter to us, any of that stuff. We just want you to go win. And that's what the white glove's helpful. It's like, yeah, like I get you had a CRM in the past, but did it do this, and this? Oh no, it was just an Excel sheet for you. Well, yeah, then that would be frustrating to spend $3,000 a month for HubSpot, if it just stored some contact information that you could do on Excel, right? It's all about the setup. It's all about how you design it. And we have a turnkey shed specific solution that has led to secure storage sheds in their first 6 months growing 167% in revenue and doubling their sales conversion in 9 months. So that's why we got into the industry. So 3 years ago at this point, I cold emailed Shannon to get on the Shed Geek podcast because I was doing some consulting at the time. And he was like one of the few people who emailed me back. I got on, talked about sales, And then I got on again with Brandon had an episode, I had an episode. And then finally, after like 18 months of knowing this guy, he sent us one lead, shared us with somebody. Finally, his name is Jeremy Gaither. I was actually in Arizona. So I have a little daughter. Her name's Graceland, and she's about 18 months. But my daughter was probably 4 months. I was in Arizona, on our first vacation as a family. And I had to go to the, hotel, lobby and, have a quick Zoom with Jeremy to kind of work out the deal or whatever. And we started working with them. And so because of the success with Jeremy, like we never thought we were going to be in the shed industry. That was not on the, business plan, or whatever. I talked to some people in the industry and they're like, they say the same things. It's so funny how that works. But, it just went so well with Jeremy. It's like, we've got to go to the shed expo. Like we have to. We've got to go share this with people. We could do this again. And then we had a company, Dutch Boy Barnes, and then Suncrest Sheds and all these guys. And Dutch Boy Barnes in the first 3 months grew their revenue 25%. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot in 3 months.
No
That's what people shoot for in a year, right? And that's probably for most people that's a reach goal on a 12-month YOY,
Yeah, and I think in his first month his conversion rate like almost doubled, because of how much, how many more follow-ups were happening. And so yeah, I mean that's what our goal is. So it's like, yeah, like this isn't that. And it's really important for people. I just think in any industry, it's like just because a failure happens or something doesn't work out doesn't mean it's good. And I will say that most people in this industry promise the moon and then you get like nothing. 88% of CRM implementations fail. That's the industry-wide stat. So Brandon and I were like, how can we like flip that on its head? So we have 90% plus of our implementations go well. That was our whole thing. That's why the white glove process is so important, is people just need to know how to use this daily and they need everything just set up for them. And over time, they can learn to set up workflows themselves. That's the goal, right? So that's how we set it up. How can we convert revenue faster and flip that stat on its head?
And
doesn't
just
mean a good software isn't the solution. So
piggyback on that Dutch Boy Barnes story real quick. Jeremy Miller had he was a very good project manager and he was a very good leader that helped make sure that that went well. And that's super helpful. It's not all 100% us. It's just like any, partnership, marriage, whatever. Jeremy Miller, different Jeremy, at Dutch Boy Barnes was awesome because he understood his people, that he's got some old timers that are just only ever going to greet people at the lot. They're going to write everything down, and somebody else is going to have to enter that stuff in the system so that those people actually get delivered their sheds. And that is not the person he was going to put in charge of managing their online Facebook leads with Velocity 360. So he got the right people on the bus in the right seats, and I think that is something else that people could learn from Jeremy is, hey, if you've got somebody who is techie, who is comfortable with a headset and a mouse and keyboard and 3 monitors, yeah, that's the person that's your power user for Velocity 360. They should probably have all your online leads, close as many as they can, and then the ones that need to go to the lot, let them share the commission with whoever is the salesperson that's on site. And I think that kind of hybrid model makes a lot of sense for most situations where, if you just try to run your business like you're going to survive and grow and do well just based on walk-ons, and you're not going to have any digital presence and you're just going to throw your hands up in the air and give up on that. That's not going to work. Just like we wouldn't recommend not having a physical location at all. Like some people do need to see and feel and touch and open the door. And that's how you make some sales and also like a lot of upsells too, like when somebody realizes, oh man, this doesn't look quite the way I want it to look more like that and to have windows or whatever. So yeah, it's the best of both worlds. That's I think another thing that helped that project in particular go well.
I'll mention one more thing too, just so for this question there. Sorry, Cord.
That's okay. No worries.
The analytics piece. So failed past CRM implementations, they also fail because of lack of integrations, and they fail because lack of analytics. So one of the things we build for every single shed client, steel buildings client too, by the way, we work with steel industry, manufacturers. We have furniture companies now too that we're working with, like Dutch Furniture, a Dutch Country Furniture out of Delaware. So the analytics piece is so important. Most people we talk to can't figure out if their ads actually have an ROI. And so one of the things we've done, we've networked with nearly every software company in the shed space at this point. Shed app, Sheds for Sale,
Sensei, Idea
Room, Shed Pro. And we're building a relationship with these guys to make the integration process really easy and part of the onboarding, so that all the leads get in and they all get marked the correct source. And on the dashboard, we have a specific lead source section that auto tracks conversion rates by lead sources. And in fact, that's why we got into this space again. Like Jeremy had one lead source, like Shed Pro leads in his particular case, we're converting like 23 times higher than his basic meta ad. Like, dude, double your spend. And I was like, wait, we need to call these Shed Pro guys. Wait, we need to be friends. They need to send us some people who might struggle with sales conversion or something. That's actually how we got Dutch Boy and Suncrest, by the way, and to start helping them, because they were just like, a lot of these shed guys are great at the operations, build a shed. Like they're experts in that. I wouldn't know what to do, but man, the sales conversion, they just need some help, right? And so getting all those in one place, he was able for the first time, Jeremy's been in the business for a very long time, had some really large companies. For the first time, he could tell which lead source, where should he put his marketing dollars? And that's a big missing piece of most failed CRM implementations, is that analytics piece. And we like to make that very simple. We also like to make it very simple where you can actually see the bottlenecks in your sales funnel. So where's the biggest drop off in your sales funnel? And it's usually getting the first response for most people. And so then we can recommend, changes, to the workflows, maybe a voicemail or a text here that can help increase that, engagement rate, or here's a promotion you should run. Which is helpful for people. And, we'll just help set up anything up in the workflows, and we'll work with their marketing team too. If they've got a marketing team, like website team, we help do all of that for them. And if we have all of that, the CRM, you'll be pretty happy. You're in one place. We also we have with whatever payment solution you use, once they pay, it auto updates opportunity values in our system, whatever you're using. So all of the numbers are the same across the entire suite of softwares you might be using. So you have real-time data, which is very helpful for people.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm just thinking about this from the dealer or manufacturer perspective. Like I said, we've kind of had some of these conversations, as part of this CRM series on the podcast, but also offline. And and talking through these things. And I think that people are intimidated a little bit about what that process will look like. I know that some CRM companies or CRM implementers, they really want to try and match the sort of whatever you have going on currently, with their build out. But the way I'm taking it from you guys, Joe and Brandon, you correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you guys are pretty confident in the sort of shed setup that you guys have. You're confident in the methods that you're using to continue to make people responsive, get them on the phone, move them down through that. I like what Brandon said, that middle of the funnel, type of an area. If you're thinking about it from ads all the way down to sales. So kind of maybe walk me through what that looks like. Is that we have all these tools, we have all these workflows and automations that we feel like, we have known quantities for the results, or is it more back and forth? Let's match your day to day. How do you guys just sort of approach that process?
I got a big day tomorrow. I have a fully finished 18 by 40 cabin that's going to require 2 to 3 meals to get it delivered. Way back in the sticks and down a dirt lane. With all the rain we've had lately, it's going to be a mess. Well, it needs a bigger mule.
Well, when you talk, Cardinal listens, and you asked for it. With its diesel-powered 69-horse engine and capacity to move 40,000-pound sheds, the Mule 9069 is ready to turn your big days into just another day in the good life.
Ah, that's right. You're talking about the one they had up in Michigan at the shed show. That monster mule, that thing was awesome.
That's right. It's the one you've seen at all the Shed Holler barbecues.
Man, yeah, there's nothing like a little diesel donkey to make my day go so much better.
We approach it turnkey. I don't actually think people like designing CRM workflows and trying to create, maps of their, here's how the business works. Let's document every process. I think that's like the last thing on most of these business owners' lists, including myself. I hate documentation. I hate doing that. Look, you know what? If I'm a business owner, like when we talk to people, they just want their revenue to go up. They don't care how it happens. Revenue. Okay, perfect. And most of these guys, because of the answers to those first 3 or 4 questions is almost always no. Oh, then that's the first thing you need, and you'll sell more.
Right.
You're like, sweet. Okay, let's just do that. Because, generally, most people we work with, their CRMs are set up pretty poorly. It's not like they're missing that much. Now, in our migration process, if they have workflows or anything they love, like, we'll just move that over. Sure. We'll just migrate that in.
Take the best, leave the rest. Sure.
Yeah, because these workflows, like catching within 60 seconds is what you should be doing, but you're not. So, following up 14 times is what you should be doing, but you're not. Having a 12-month promo, like, of workflows, like following up with people, right? Reviews, AI call summary. This is all stuff that should be happening, but it's not. So having that happening is always better than their current situation. So we're just like, listen, we should start there. Down the road, you need some custom stuff. Like, sure, like we'll make more workflows for you. We can, work on some different integrations or just whatever you need. Like we have some more white glove services down the road, but your first build, you just need those 5 things. Your revenue will go up and you'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Shannon, you look like you were.
I was just tuning in.
Sorry, you perk up.
Well, I thought my question was, you talked about integration, and we kind of talked about this on air beforehand. So Shed Geek and Velocity 360 collaborate, right? And we kind of always have kind of collaborated with you, Joe, even though we didn't send you a lot of leads.
They'll say soft collaboration or something.
Your quality made up for the lack of quantity.
That's right.
I'll just blame it on your product offering. I won't blame it on yours.
Listen, I will say we're 2 for 2. We got that one. We got Steel Kings too is a new client. So which is
and obviously the Shed Sales Summit trying to. For me, it was a hard time trying to make the connection. Like we were wanting to do Shed University a long time ago. I was really happy to see Peter do Shed Sales Summit. So whenever I saw that he was doing that, I was like, you got to meet Joe. You got to go to Knoxville. And it just so happens that you guys were doing an event And don't let us forget to talk about your event that's coming up in January. But it was like, you got to go talk to them. And then, through that, getting the exposure kind of to the shed industry, I think that's what it is you just stuck in there long enough. Let's use you as a use case scenario. You stayed in the shed industry and stayed close to me long enough to where eventually, like, that conversation came together where you're at the expo now and boom, you're closing 20 deals afterwards because you're like finding your lane and where you can help now. So my question is, I think collaborators, succeed. I think that whenever you choose not to collaborate, it doesn't benefit you, it doesn't benefit the customer. So you talked about collaboration, and I think my question is really this: is like, what is your approach to collaborating with all of these people, and like, what if they offer the service themselves? Like, how do you thread the needle? Because that's probably been the hardest thing for me in the shed industry. Is I want to work with everyone because I want to see people win. But man, it's so complicated because we're a very fragmented industry. Some companies do this, some companies do this, some companies do this. Some of them mix, some of them don't. They offer a myriad of things. So, like, what is your collaboration approach? Because at Shed Geek, we're certainly happy to collaborate with Velocity 360 because we've been a knowledge gap partner for a long time. But Velocity 360 seems to really have some legs, So like, we want to tap into that. We want people to call us so that we can put you in, put you guys in touch. You know what I mean? That's a way to give me a thank you. Call Shed Geek. Let us do it. You can call Joe directly. He advertises with us. But give us a call. We want to make the connection because we believe in what you guys do. So what's your collaboration approach is what I'm asking.
Yeah, and I'm sure Brandon has his ideas. We're pretty aligned on this. It's like there's so much business. There's so much to go around. It just doesn't matter. Like, if somebody else wants to offer a CRM, that's great. I'm sure they'll have their value proposition and it'll probably be different than ours. And our lane is so simple. If you want your leads to convert faster and at a higher conversion rate, okay, there you go. That's us. We don't want to make your website. We don't want to do your ads. I don't want to go be your ERP, your delivery system, and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with Velocity, but like, that's not what we're selling, and that's not what we're trying to help people with. If somebody wants to come in and do all the cool software capabilities within your company and build all these things, great. If you want to hire us to do some other workflows that are not substandard, it's like, sure, but really what we believe is that when you specialize, you do better. And we integrate with our API and integrations. We can integrate with almost anything. And we're just so open-handed. We just don't care. Like, whatever you want to use, whatever helps your business. Like, I'm not if you use someone else's CRM and not us, like, everybody's got competitors. Like, like, we're not going to go we don't build our workflows and all of our specialized, really cool stuff on other platforms because we can't get the same results. You're not going to get the same results. We're not going to put our name on something where we can't control the results like we want to.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I almost wanted that soundbite because, it's just like, why fight over the piece of pie, make the pie bigger? That's kind of been our approach at Shed Geek the whole time. Is like, I think there's enough for us to all win, regardless of what anybody gets into. But man, you really want to work with people who are results driven. Me and Cord talk about this all the time. We want to be on, I'm still in your thunder here, Cord. We want to be on the good side of business. We want to be on the side of business that wins, like, that always treats the customer well, collaborates effectively, and is results driven. Like, and if it's not those things, it doesn't really match up to a long-term potential partner, in our opinion. So, like, what's driving the results so much? Joe, you've got so much sales history, so much sales knowledge. You've been on the podcast and you've talked about that before. But what drives you into this area of what I'm going to call a marketing service, whether that's the accurate way to depict it or not? Like, what drives you into this? Because you've seen the sales side. Is it just that the software is so valuable in helping to close sales leads? Because I mean, that's who you are, Joe. Like, you're like the ultimate sales guy, dude. You're like the guy who just gets results. So, like, was it just like, hey, this is the next way to level up? I mean, what was your approach to this?
Yeah, and I think Brandon also cut his teeth doing door-to-door sales. Actually, before I even was at the company I was at, so we've got a combined 14 years, and what is that? 15,000, 20,000 hours of door-to-door sales experience.
And that's just the door-to-door, not to
That's
mention all
just
the
the door-to-door
B2B and
stuff.
software and stuff
You
that we did
know,
after that.
and
Yeah.
and he and I both led teams and recruited, and so we've seen firsthand, like, you know, the rep not wanting to enter something into the software, and like, you know, what the psychology of the salesperson is, and really doing the hardest thing, straight commission, door-to-door book sales all over the country that you could probably ever imagine, the most Navy SEALs sales academy that you can think of, when you're 18, 19, 20, building your career in college, right? Trying to pay off school debt. But yeah, I think, and I would not, by the way, I just have to correct here. We are not a marketing service. So like, let's use a sales conversion.
Okay.
You know,
I'm curious. Yeah. Hey,
we're not,
label it however you want. I just want to like, I'm curious at how you guys propose that value proposition. Like, you know, do you see CRMs as a marketing service, as a sales extension? Because there's probably some debate. There's some fodder between different people who like how they would identify that. So however you guys identify it, let me know.
Yeah. We're focusing on the conversion aspect of this. And again, that's why we want to be really clear with where our lane's at. Like, we don't want to go create against, you know, marketing to me is, if you think about a client journey, okay, marketing is awareness, sales. So advertising is getting someone to be like, catch them when they're in the decision-making process, and sales is bringing them to a decision. So those are kind of the three definitions that I would say is the true definitions. Yeah. Marketing is awareness. Advertising is catching them when they're in the decision-making process. Sales is getting them to make the decision one way or the other. So that's how it fits. We're not advertisers. We're not marketers. We're sales. We're in the sales part of this.
You want them to convert. Like, that is your goal. You want to show conversion tracking for those leads that come in. What if a lead comes in and it's not a qualified lead? I feel like I know what you guys are going to say already, because I know Brandon's smiling. I've already heard him answer this question, but I want to ask it again. Like, are all leads good leads, Brandon?
Not all leads are good leads. No, that is the truth. And you will definitely have your share of tire kickers, people who have no budget, that just take forever to make a decision. And you know what? Sometimes those bad leads can turn into good leads if you give them enough time and nurturing and water. You know, if you plant the seeds, and you know, it might take them 6 months, it might take them a year before they finally get off the pot. But that's kind of the key, you know, where we're having not just the speed to lead, right? But also having workflows and automations for nurturing folks, you know, when they don't buy within the first 14 touches or however many touches, or even if someone did buy from you, like going back to Joe's earlier point, sometimes your very best customers are the people who bought from you already, right? Those are your best qualified leads. So, following up with both is important, but I'm rambling, and I want to know why Shannon asked like that lead question specifically. I want to know where, and I'd be interested to hear Joe's take too.
Hello, Shed Builders. I'd like to grab your attention for just a moment. As we look ahead, one thing is clear. Customers will have higher expectations than ever before. Shed consumers have an unprecedented access to information. To stay competitive, you need to create sheds that are not only high in quality, but also rich in innovation. You might recall my friend Dan Ream, one of my early podcast guests, who introduced Solar Blaster fans, specifically the Solar Roof Blaster. Dan has been busy handling orders, and he's eager to speak directly to shed builders about his groundbreaking products. What stands out to me about Dan's products, designed specifically for sheds, like the Solar Roof Blaster and the Solar Light Blaster, is how they enhance the shed owner's experience. With the focus on quality, it's time to start thinking about adding features and benefits for the end user. Here at Shed Geek, we wholeheartedly recommend Solar Blaster as the solution. My favorite thing about the entire line of products? The support you'll receive from Dan. Not only is he incredibly knowledgeable about these products, but he's also one of the most customer-focused individuals I know. He truly stands behind both his product and his service. We're searching for companies ready to elevate customer satisfaction to the next level. To learn more, just visit solarblasterfans.com and fill out some basic information for a callback, or connect directly at 480-747-7097. You can also check out the Shed Geek newsletter, where a click on the Solar Blaster ad will guide you to a form for more information and some cool videos showcasing the products. Let's power up innovation and elevate customer experiences together.
I would too. I think I heard Joe mention something from the Shed Sales Summit stage, maybe something similar on this. But if somebody reaches out to contact you in some way, there's an interest there, and I think Cord talked about this earlier. There's a level of interest there, so sometimes you can take that. I like what you said, Brandon. You can take that small level of interest, and you can educate them to where they become a buyer, where they just had mild interest early on because they didn't understand the process. But it might take 14 times to do that, right? Like it might take, these long form drip campaigns or something, these automation funnels that continue to put whatever your product offering is in front of people.
And people don't buy logically. It's not as if they're just waiting for the next paycheck or the big Black Friday sale. Man, if somebody just had a continuous drip for me and I happened to be in my garage shifting stuff around so I could finally work out in there again, and then I got one of those texts or those emails about a shed being on sale, I was in a highly emotional state of, yes, just get this crap out of my garage right now so I can have my gym back. That's the other thing about having these, multiple ways to follow up with people. That's just not feasible when you're one person or even a team of people. Is that you have a better chance of catching them at that perfect right time. And it kind of goes back to like what Joe was saying about us like staying in our lane and our collaboration philosophy, right? Is there's going to be people that do more marketing, more top of the funnel, the awareness, the branding, the website, the ads. And there's people that will do the more human element of sales as well, like Peter Miller, making sales simple. We used to do a little bit of that. We were great at it, but it wasn't scalable. It's not what we got out of it. Now we're focused on the technology side of sales to help increase that sales velocity so people can close more leads faster by using the leverage that technology and software provides. It's just like, investing in a house, right? Like if your house price goes up 5 or 10% a year, it's on the entire value of the house, not just your 20% down payment. Like that's leverage. That's what we're talking about here, but technology and with your business. If you invest just a little bit in systems that multiply your time 5x, like that's how you get, 2,500% or greater revenue growth. Because it feels like there's 5 times more of you.
Yeah. That's great, man. You guys do like great sound bites when you're not even like meaning to. You just like your natural cadence like works really good. Cord, do you have anything? I've got a couple of questions I want to ask, but I want to make sure to like share the screen.
Yeah, no, I think just as far as what our listeners, at least on that sort of entry level understanding of where these guys' expertise lies. I mean, I think there's no doubt there what that process looks like. I mean, to be honest with you, my mind just goes to like, where do you guys want to be in, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Like, is the shed industry, do you see the potential there to where you're saying like, like we want to be at all the shows. We want to be a huge provider, have a lot of market share in the shed industry. Like we see where this is going and we want to ride the wave, or like, what's that look like, Joe? I mean, I know you're great at casting vision, so give me that good stuff, Joe.
Yeah. So we're going to be making maybe the next 12 to, we don't have we're going to do a lot of good annual planning here in December. So the goal over the next couple of years, I'll say, is because I don't want to bite off more than we can chew, and I want to be realistic. I always tell people when we do CRM implementations, it's like, and setups, it's like, look, we're not a magic wand. We're not going to close the lead for you. Like, you're going to have to learn the software. It's kind of pain in the butt for 30 days. Okay. But then we're done in 30 days. And yeah, like you're still not going to know where to click, and you're going to have people blah, blah, blah. And you're going to have to, force your team to use it and all this. But like, if the long-term goal is there and you can sell more, it's worth it, right? Like it's worth doing if that's long-term goal, right? So where we'd like to be over the next two years is make even more shed specific CRM, completely proprietary. So no secret, but we basically do some licensing. And if you've seen Go High Level, generally that's like our licensing core. We have a lot of custom stuff built on it that are not normal, like GHL style features. And we set it up really, really well, completely differently. But what we want to do over the next 24 months is like have a shed specific sales CRM that's even better. And so we always want feedback. What features do people want to see? We're making a long list, and we want to make it even simpler and easier for a sales rep to use. It's already simple and easy, but like, how can we make it even better? And that's where we want to be in the next 24 months, I would say. And we're doubling down in the shed steel industry. We love these people. I like, whenever we started the business, the kind of ideal client profile was always like working with Christian business owners. Like, I just love working with Christian business owners. It's so fun. Just feels like I'm living out partial ministry, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'll meet these awesome people who are stressed out of their mind. It takes away from their kids or their church or whatever. And a lot of them too, a lot of people we work with are like, they're great at business and they're just trying to open 10 more lots in the next 12 months, and they just need something's holding us back, right? So it's like, it's very logical sometimes as well, but that's what we want to be doing. If we can impact the world in a positive way, in a Christ-centered way, like, that's what we care about. And so every shed owner we've talked to is basically that way. So it feels like this is where we'd like to be. And then doubling down, reinvesting into making even better, software pieces, I think will be where we want to go.
I think it's great, man. Like, it is an example of what pulls you in about the industry, the conservative or ultra conservative side, just the kindness in people, the goodness in people, the competitiveness in business. And Joe, like, and I think Brandon too, like, you both sold Bibles, like, literally door to door.
That's true.
Come on, like, this is like coming full circle. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to like work in an industry full of people who, know that Bible very well. Yeah, and like, hey, I bet you if you're selling Bibles door to door, you get a lot of no's. So I bet you guys got used to how to overcome a no, probably better than most anybody out there, right?
Especially because I sold in Washington and New York, just about the most unchurched heathens in America. But it's funny, you actually gave me the opportunity to share my testimony on your podcast, that first episode I did with you. And I was just thinking of like my local shed dealer right next door to my church. Went over, shook her hand, and she had a cross bracelet on her right hand. And my wife makes these like verselets. Like, our pastor's wife has this business called verselets, where each letter is like a word from scripture. So like, this one says, "The Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And it's just like the acronym for it. So, but anyway, we both shook hands and we're like, we're gonna get along great. This is off to a good start. Like, we both love Jesus. This is a great foundation for like an awesome business relationship. And to echo Joe's point, it does kind of feel like an opportunity to expand God's kingdom and use business as ministry. Like, shout outs to Shed Pro. They do a really great job of that. That's why they moved their business to Vietnam, is because there's countries like Vietnam that are unfriendly to Christian missionaries. But if you're bringing jobs and money there, suddenly they're okay with it. And so that's why they do things the way that they do. And that's a good segue where Stephen Choi actually is going to be a speaker at our conference that we shall not forget to encourage people to come to.
Yes, tell us
January
about it.
January 23rd. I'll let Joe
tell us
share
about
a little bit more about it, but I was just getting us there. I was just
I'll mention the conference here. So right before the conference, just to really keep everybody on the edge of their seats of this really cool event that you definitely shouldn't go to because it's not very valuable at all.
And don't tell anybody. Don't tell your friends.
Don't tell anybody about it. But before that, the other thing I want to add is I really want to have a service side of this business once we get to a point where we're large enough and there's enough margin for this. But one thing on my heart that I thought would be really cool to do is there's so many good nonprofits out there that have terrible software, and we want to basically donate Velocity 360 accounts to really great charities. I think we're 12 months out from that unless we grow really fast. So I guess call us. But yeah, but that would be really cool to do. My wife's in the social work space and worked with a lot of organizations that just have systems that really hold back how big of the impact and the footprint can be. So I think we have a unique way of helping, again, those types of nonprofits make a difference. So
I'm going to tell you that right now, Joe, I may end up taking advantage of that because we've just been talking about, establishing a 501c3 as we grow ourselves personally and individually, and then also the podcast. And, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here on this episode, Cord, although we may end up recording episodes that talk about this before this episode comes out, before this CRM series comes out. We're talking about creating a media group for that purpose. At one point, just starting a podcast, well, it turned into so much more, and now I found a real niche and a real passion. So it's like, why not talk about the things that you're passionate about, like prison ministry, right? Like addiction recovery. Like, why not have a podcast that talks about those things and try to find a way to turn those things into a 501c3 where we can donate and help our community? Because, like, man, we're more in line than what you guys realize. Like, Cord being on the city council, having a heart for community. And, like, look, he's never opined for me to join the city council, just to be clear. But it's probably also because I've been so adamant about how I refuse to get into the political nature of it, and I just want to help from afar as best I can. But who knows? One of these days, if that seems the way that the Lord leads me. But no, I think it's great. I think it's a testimony to, like, who you are as a business owner too, like where your heart is, who you're trying to help, what you're trying to accomplish. I think people buy from people they trust. I think when it boils down to it. And you said something earlier. You said, hey, I don't want to be a shed builder. Well, guess what? Shed builders don't want to implement CRMs. That's a reason why we need each other, guys.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things about Brandon too is he's like so aligned on all of this. It's just like that's why Brandon and I are working together. It's just like, and he can tell you his story of coming out of the clutches of the corporate ghoul into the light of impacting individuals. But yeah.
What a great phrase, Joe. My goodness. The clutches of the corporate ghoul.
Hey, listen, I've got a list of books I'd love to write one day and get this thing really off the ground. Like, I love literary mnemonics, and just like different concepts is so fun. I can, that's like the creative part of me. I don't know. There's just ways to describe things. They're so interesting to me to try to, you just try to encapsulate that beast, the corporate beast of just money over human life. I just did not there, it's just like, who cares? What is money? Whatever. I need to pay my people. So, we got to charge stuff for it, and there's a lot of value in it. So, businesses.
I love the higher purpose, dude. Like, I feel like it feels like a phone call where you can just sit and talk to a friend. And it sounds like I'm trying to sell it. And it's not just because we partnered with you, but there's a reason. I've had a lot of people on the podcast show, people who I've reached out to and people who've reached out to me to be on, and you've tried to decipher, and at the end of the day, I feel like everyone's got a story. But what's really cool about you is, like, we stayed connected somehow long enough to work together. 18 months, 22 months, whatever it was, from like, we stayed together long enough to figure out how to work together. And I think that, I would love to go back. I just saw where David Greer shared on LinkedIn our conversation, and that's been, so long ago. Harry Spate, still shares some of the conversations that we had. And some of these are outside of the industry guys, right? That they don't know anything about the industry. They know sheds exist, but they don't really know, like, this inner workings of, like, that, wait a minute, there's a shed expo, and there's like a shed haulers event, and there's like all of these other things that exist. It's like, it's a big little industry, and it needs help, because it's growing. It's turning into an adult. It's past adolescence, and part of that includes the tech space. And guess what? In an ultra conservative space, and I've said this 100 times on the podcast, I'm going to start losing listeners if I'm not careful. But what do we do as conservatives whenever we don't understand something?
Don't
criticize
change.
it. Don't change. It'll never work. Computers. Who's going to have a computer? I've told that story 100 times. My mother-in-law said, a computer, we'll never have one in this house. Well, now they have a computer. Internet, we'll never have that. Guess who the enemy is today? AI. And I'm like, it's just a matter of time before I go over there and my mother-in-law's teaching me about AI.
ChatGPT. Probably already is.
Like, can you believe that you can do this? And I'm like, right. Well, anything can be used for good. Anything can be used for bad. But generally speaking, like, if you're a salesperson and you want to close more sales, I just don't know how you're not going to do that with an automation funnel and a CRM. So why not find professionals like Joe, like Brandon, who know how to do that? Oh, by the way, give me a wave, guys. Tell them we sent you. Go fill out our stuff so we can send Joe more
Link
leads.
on newsletter. Link in the newsletter. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And then and next time we have Joe on the show, he'll be like, "Man, Shannon, you brought us 30 leads. We're so happy to be partnered with you. That works out excellent." So, anything else that you guys want to share? I know you talked about like your event coming up. We're traveling to Florida during that time, so I'm sorry we can't make it. But I'm also not going to feel too bad because I'm going to be in Florida the third week of January. So, as much as I wish I could be there with you, I will painfully try to figure out a way to get by in Florida in January. What do you guys need from us? How can we help you? We want to connect you with this audience. We want people using your services. How do we help you?
Yeah, sure. And just for everyone who's listening here, a fact check. It's the 4th week in January. So I don't know what's going on here.
I'll tell you what.
Somebody just don't want to come to this conference, but listen, it won't hurt our feelings.
Did I get 2 fact checks that I'm going to have to edit out in the same
right.
episode?
All right. So we want to invite everybody. If you want to have your best year in sales in 2026, and learn how to have the best system possible for your sales reps to go succeed, and you go impact not only the people you work with, grow your business, but all of your customers, give them a better experience, you should come to our conference, Scaling Sales on Autopilot. It's a Velocity 360 conference in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's at the Jackson Terminal on Friday, January 23rd. It's an all-day conference. We will have lunch provided, t-shirts. We're giving away a free $500 sales CRM blueprint. We're giving away 30 days of LinkedIn lead generation for B2B companies who want to go meet business owners and different things like that. We're going to have 4 hours of content, and I'll go through some of the speakers here in a moment, some of the topics. We're going to have 2 hours of networking with sales professionals from all across the country. And it's going to be wild. You will not want to miss it. We had about 121 people last year. Our goal this year is about 200 people that we'd like to impact. We want sales teams and, leadership teams to join. You get 15-20% off the more people that you have in your group. So like if you're a 1-person show, like go tell your buddies about it, because you get 10% off if you come in a group of 2 to 4. If you come in a group of 5+, you get 20% off. And we're like talking $103 a ticket at 5 people plus, which is nothing. That's like, I always tell in the shed industry, I always tell people are selling in the version of sheds. That's not even, a tenth of a shed to bring your whole, 5-person sales team, where they can go learn, and go crush it. We're having the founder of Replay. It's a software where you train an AI on your sales scripting, your like a rubric for training your sales reps. You put that in the system, and they can actually have a sales conversation that gets transcribed, recorded, grades them, and emails you, the sales manager, the owner, of how well they did. And we can integrate with your phone calls, and you get automated coaching to your sales reps, which can be a real big problem for onboarding new reps. So he's going to come speak. We're having an ads SEO specialist come and speak about how to maximize your ads and make incredible Facebook groups as well. He's out of Charlotte, and he created a Facebook group that generates him like $30,000-$40,000 a month in revenue just from Facebook groups. It's pretty wild. We're having Shed Pro come speak on having a purpose-driven business. We're having authors come speak about local social media. So for lead gen, so it's literally a conference about getting leads, closing leads, training people to close leads better. And if that sounds enticing, all you have to do is go to conference.velocity360crm.com/tickets2026, conference.velocity360crm.com/tickets2026. And we'll put that link hopefully in the description.
Yeah, we'll make sure to throw it on the screen whenever we edit everything in. Of course, anybody who wants to reach out, give us a call, 618-309-3648, or check us out on shedgeek.com or info@shedgeek.com. We want to hook you up with these guys. We believe in them. We love them. We love their processes. We went to the event last year and we had a blast. Me and Peter Miller went. Deanna, we did. We were going to speak in Ohio at a keynote for Hirschberger Lawn. And on the way, hit a wolf in a rent-a-car outside of Knoxville. Have you ever heard of that? Seriously.
Oh,
am I like,
wait, you've never done that before? Not everybody.
Well, not on a Thursday, Joe. Like, but no, seriously, I hit a wolf in a rental car. And I'm just like, they're not going to believe it. Anyway, I was on the way to your event whenever that happened, and loved it. Like, seriously, enjoyed the event. I always have enjoyed Knoxville. Man, I just think you do an excellent job. I always felt like you have. It's been nice getting to know Brandon, and I just really believe in what you guys are doing over there. We're excited to affiliate partner with you guys. We know you're going to kill it in the CRM space, and we know that people need what you guys offer. So I love the collaboration and being able to help. And you're invited back anytime you guys want to come on and chat, because if we can add value to people's day by listening to these conversations, that's what we want ultimately, So I agree with you, Joe. Money's money. It's a byproduct of the success, but it's the success we're chasing. It's not the money. We just need the money because somebody wants to, pay the bills around here for some reason and keep lights on. But if it wasn't for that, man, I'd just be a helper. I do believe in the, you were at the Shed Sales Summit. I totally believe in the, Zig Ziglar quote, help others get what they want so you can get what you want. So be a helper first, and the money will show up. Anyway, that's my little pitch. Cord, you got anything you want to ask just before we get out of here? I want to be mindful of these guys' time.
No, I think we've covered all the bases. I really wish maybe there is a way that I could manage to scoot over there for that. I mean, it just sounds like such a great lineup, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try and move something around. Now that we've discovered it's the 4th week, Joe, my goodness, I've been lied to this whole time. 3rd week,
I'll tell you what.
So you'll show up with a good tan, is what you're saying.
That's right. In the 4th week of January.
If I wanted this kind of abuse, I'd just go home, fellas. I don't need to come to work. Just kidding. My wife edits this, so she'll wink at me. Hey, look, you guys are awesome. It's always fun to talk with you. And you know what? If we could make it down there to Knoxville, we'd love to be there. But let's take a hard look at the schedule for it and see if we can make it work. If not, I know it's going to be a great event. It was excellent last year. So appreciate you guys. We'll make sure to people want to know more about Velocity 360 outside of listening to this podcast. Go check out the newsletter. There's a link there you could click on, find out more about it, fill out their lead form, schedule a meeting with these guys because they're really fun to talk to at the end of the day. They've got a lot of business experience. And if you guys decide a CRM's not for you, you're wrong. But if you do, trust me, there's someone that you're going to want to work with because they've just been a joy for us to conversate with. So wishing you guys lots of luck. And if you need anything from us, just know we're here to support in any way we can.
Awesome. Thanks for having us on.
Appreciate you. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thanks again, ShedPro, for being the Shed Geeks studio sponsor for 2025. If you need any more information about ShedPro or about ShedGeek, just reach out. You can reach us by email at info@shedgeek.com or just go to our website, www.shedgeek.com, and submit a form with your information, and we'll be in contact right away. Thank you again for listening, as always, to today's episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Thank you and have a blessed day.